Hello guys, welcome. Today we will do this session on a very topic which is very close to my heart, which is called value of leadership in financial markets. And this topic is very close to my heart because I believe that anybody entering into financial markets, especially youngsters like you, and at point of time, even I was a youngster. When I was a youngster like you, I always wanted to get into a brokerage firm or a exchange or somewhere in the top echelons of financial markets. And eventually, I cracked the formula of how to get into leadership level. When presented uh, a chance before me, I also named my institute Financial Market Leadership Institute because I want all of you to achieve this leadership position in financial markets and be in the top 10-15% of financial markets. And so I show you an image of Deutsche Bank trading floor, which I have personally visited in Germany. And here, if you see, there is something very peculiar about this. There are hundreds of people who sit on various levels on this trading floor. But what is so peculiar about it? It looks like any other trading floor, right? Yes, this peculiarity is true for every trading floor in the world. And what is this peculiarity? The peculiarity is that there are hundreds of people on this trading floor, but you don't know who is making how much money, which means who is placed where in terms of financial market leadership. Okay, so there will be normal traders who will earn a couple of hundred thousands per annum. There will be star traders who will make something around $3-4 million. And if you read Flash Boys, you will come to know that star algo traders in the US get somewhere around 50 to 75 million dollars in terms of bonuses, annual bonuses. And you will also find a small accountant who is working on the same trading floor who makes only about 50,000 to 75,000 USD per annum, okay, with no bonus. What is so peculiar then, if you ask, everyone here wears a suit and a tie. Okay, so when you meet these people, you will hardly come to know who is making how much money. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to drive is that financial market jobs, as I have met thousands of professionals, I know there is a huge continuum in terms of what work you do, how much pay you get, how much bonus you get, how much of work life balance you have, how much of end satisfaction, and how much of career runway and prospect you already have, and how much of it is already taken away by machines, algos, and things like that. So, when you're planning for a career in financial markets, always try to achieve this kind of leadership position that we pitch for and prepare you for. Now, guys, you will ask, what is the role of FMLI in all this? Now, for FMLI, this kind of trait is very, very important for me personally. And as I said earlier, we have named this institute Financial Market Leadership Institute because I believe that no youngster should accept any low or medium quality job. Okay, if you are aspirational, you should always try to aim for very, very senior level position. Of course, you will not get this position the moment you step out of college, but you should start staking your claim in just 2 to 3 years time, just after you leave your college. And in about 5 years time, you should get into a mid-level position, already aiming for the top. Okay, I always say that what you do now will determine whether you are in the 1 crore plus salary bracket after 10 years or 12 years, or whether you are stagnated in 20-30 lakh salary bracket at the end of 10 years. Okay, now why leadership is very important? It's important because if you set your sight on the top, okay, and if you prepare properly, and this kind of preparation also requires about 6 months to 1 year, although in FMLI we try to accelerate it. Okay, you should always try to achieve this kind of leadership position, and you should start thinking about this leadership quotient while preparing itself. Okay, the current system of education, placement, and employability is quite stacked against this kind of leadership thought, but we will leave that video for some other day. Okay, I have personally created a lot of financial market infrastructure on the buy side and sell side especially on the trading, surveillance, risk management, and settlement side. I've also created fintech companies, various apps for trading, settlement, etc. I have led teams of hundreds and thousands of people. So I know this area very well. And so I'm in a very good position to guide youngsters like you. Okay. And I know very well the difference between leadership and management. And this is what I want to tell you in this session. Okay. This is what I want to communicate in this session. And at the end of this session, perhaps it will be about for 20 minutes. If you get to know what is the difference between a manager and a leader, then perhaps my time will be very well spent. I meet thousands of students every year, okay, but one thing I notice is aspirants fail to understand the value of leadership. There is something called as Johari window. Johari window classifies knowledge into four parts. First part is what you know and what others know. Second part is what you know and others don't know. Third part is what you don't know and others know. And fourth part is what you don't know and others don't know. So leaders in financial markets already know what they are looking for in candidates. Unfortunately, I see that candidates do not know what they are looking for. And so they are stuck in very low quality inputs. Okay, perhaps watching Instagram reels, some small videos, etc. And they don't prepare themselves properly because they do not have this kind of exposure in the first place. Okay, by virtue of meeting hundreds of professionals, I know that it is not uncommon in any financial institutions for the top guy to actually draw 10 times more than their juniors and sometimes their immediate juniors as well. Okay. And as I said earlier, whether you'll be in 1 to 1.5 crores or 2 crores salary bracket after 10 years or will stagnate in 25 to 30 lakh bracket, it's something that, you will have to work on now. So you may ask, why is there a need to reinforce this? Well, I see a lot of students facing problems of right aspiration. They do not have the right aspiration and do not have the right exposure to leadership quotient. They set their targets very low and eventually they face the brunt of it. Okay. And college and the whole education system also comes in their way in them getting what they deserve and desire. The curriculum is not up to the mark. Okay. Most of the financial market institutes I have seen or MBA institutes are only theoretical. They are themselves, they are just teachers. They have never built financial markets. And these campuses do not attract the right kind of companies. So even after going through 2 years of a management program, your struggle is just reduced to finding some kind of a job, leave alone getting leadership job. Okay. So just let me, take you through this problem of aspiration. I have put 3 pictures in front of you. Okay. One is that of cabin crew on the rightmost. The second is that of flight engineer. And the third is that of pilot. Okay. A woman pilot. Guys, do you know that India has the maximum number of women pilots in the world? I am very proud of it. So I have put an image of a woman pilot. Now, each of these guys, okay, whose photo you see in front of you, each of this person would have desired to get into the aviation industry when they started off their career. And some ended becoming cabin crew, some became engineers and took aviation and flight engineering, and some became pilots. Now, skill and orientation that you pick up now is most important determinant of what you'll be doing 3 to 5 to 10 years or 12 years down the line. Now, each of these roles are critical for the aviation industry. I'm not saying any job is good or bad, but I'm sure that you understand that a pilot salary will be at least 5 times that of cabin crew, and the social status and the respect that a pilot commands is much higher than that of a flight engineer, which in turn is much higher than a cabin crew. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, same thing I have contextualized in financial markets in front of you now in this particular slide. So on the rightmost, there is a guy who's selling loans at a car dealership. In between, there is a photo of a stock trader at a brokerage firm. Okay, and on the leftmost, there is the image of Jeffrey Sprecher, who's the chair and CEO at New York Stock Exchange. Now, all of us, when we start our career, we want to become MDs and CEOs of brokerage firms, investment banks, exchanges, etc., then why is it that only a handful of us manage to get this kind of a role? And a lot of youngsters start their career by just small and menial job in financial markets, for example, doing some kind of reconciliations or opening bank accounts or selling demat accounts. Now, I have a separate presentation on that, and I say that it is absolutely scammy for sales roles to come to financial market students. But that is the harsh reality. And it is also because students have not prepared themselves well. Well, this topic I cover in some other video. But today, in these 15-20 minutes, I just want to explain to you why leadership quotient and leadership thought process is very important while you are preparing for financial markets. Now, here in this slide, I show you the salaries and the number of years of work experience and the relationship between the two. And if you manage to get into, for example, a leadership role or something, to do with algo trading, or you become a head of dealing room, then your salary just accelerates. Okay, it grows very fast. Whereas if you get into an investment accounting role or a reconciliation role or a back office kind of role, I don't say that these roles are not good, but you will see a salary stagnation after 10 to 12 years. Now, to differentiate amongst the people and quality of people and their thought process, I have invented two terms. One is called the creator versus runner mindset. Now, really, some terminology like this does not exist in the marketplace, but by virtue of meeting tens of thousands of people, I know that this kind of thought process exists. And this, in fact, I have myself inherited this thought process. I have inherited from the CEO of my first company, who went on to create 5 unicorns in the marketplace. His introduction I will do later. But when I meet people, I can easily divide them into a creator versus runner. Now, what do I mean by creator versus runner? I mean that some people who I meet, I know are born to create. Okay, they either become entrepreneurs themselves, or they become influencers, or they join startups or do their own startups, etc. Okay, they are okay to lead a miserable life initially for future gains, but they slog a lot in the initial parts of their career. Even if they join a bank or a financial institution or an investment bank, they slog a lot, and their life later on becomes a breeze. Okay. Now, I believe that you cannot become a creator unless you have a leader's mindset and a leadership mindset. And what do I mean by this? There are certain traits of leaders which we will see in some time. And in absence of such traits, you cannot just become a creator, and you cannot gun for very, very senior leadership level roles in financial markets. And at Financial Market Leadership Institute, when we go through, our own classes and education programs, we help you wear a creator's hat. We ask you to think from various angles, and essentially we try to create marketplaces and see what kind of difficulties we face in terms of all the aspects while creating this kind of marketplace. So everything that we do, we think from a creator's perspective. Now, who's a runner? A runner is someone who inherits something from the creator and then starts running that function or organization or department. Okay. What do I mean when I say a creator's mindset? I believe that creators believe in creation, they believe in impact, and they do things that have very wide impact. Okay. So they will go ahead and they will create user experiences or new products, etc. They believe what they make will be used by millions of people and the impact will be very high. Okay. I have seen that these people are explorers and risk takers by nature, and they know there are different routes to creating something. They have a lot of perseverance, and their biggest trait I have seen is they are willing to fail and start again. Okay. So out of the tens of thousands of people I have met, people with creation mindset are only handful, maybe maximum 5%. And people who are runners with production mindset, who will join established processes very diligently. I'm not saying that runners are bad or people with production mindset are bad. you require tens of thousands of people to run organizations that have already been created, to distribute products that have already been created, to follow processes that have already been created, and to run the whole organization. But 95% of the people fall in the production mindset. Okay. There is also one unique thing about creators versus these runners, which is distance from the nucleus of the organization. Now, people who create these institutions are actually very less in number. Okay, perhaps they will be in hundreds or thousands. So, if you pick up all financial institutions or all banks or all investment banking firms, brokerages, you will find creators, co-creators, CEOs, founders, etc., to be handful. They will perhaps be in thousands. Then once these institutions are created, you need tens of thousands of people to manage them. Okay. And then you also need lakhs of people to run them. So, people who create are absolutely part of the core team, and they are they are directly either the nucleus or they are very, very close to the nucleus. Okay. Uh, they run with vision, they work relentlessly, perhaps without capital. These are guys who are comfortable, like me, who are comfortable in working when they don't have clarity. They bear all the initial risk. Perhaps they don't have any social status, at least initially when they are creating, because they are doing jobs from peon to president, as I like to put it. They have very long working hours, etc. And if you have seen Narayan Murthy and others debates, Narayan Murthy has also said that you need to put in X number of hours per week if you want to create something of value. Okay. A lot of people dismissed it, saying you don't have work-life balance. But the fact is, when creators are creating, they do not care too much about work-life balance. Okay, they are out there to create, and creation involves a lot of pain. It involves a lot of suffering. It involves a lot of work. Okay. These are people who work very closely, creating the company structure, product design. Uh, they actually launch the product, they prepare the initial marketing plans, they do the fundraising, they create the company policy, etc. Okay. Then they leave everything on managers, senior managers to manage, who in turn need tens of thousands of people or lakhs of people to run these organizations. Okay. Managers and people who run organizations do very well once everything is documented, when SOPs are prepared, policies are in place, etc. They are not people who have a lot of vision. They don't like taking risks. So these are people who work for salaries. Perhaps ESOP excites everyone, but once the organization is made, then you get very little ESOP also. The pay is pretty fixed. Perhaps there will be bonus, but the exposure, etc., will be very limited. And I'm not saying that, again, running a company is very bad from people who create. No, not at all. In fact, most of these institutions where you wish to join, unless you want to create your own, are already very big. Okay, so you cannot join in a creator's role there. Although creators, you can be a creator in whatever small capacity where you join. You can do a lot of creation in any role that you are put in. Now, industry, especially financial markets, industry makes you a cog in the wheel. Okay, this I have seen again and again. I meet tens of thousands of people in financial markets, and mostly I see people, running or chasing their targets without having a full picture in mind. And I see, and when I ask them, what is your precise role in the organization? Their role is pretty limited. Okay. And they do not have too much to talk about, simply because they do not know the full picture. And when I say leadership quotient and building this leadership value, I want to build this kind of antidote thought process of being a cog in the wheel. Okay, so when we prepare you for leadership positions, we actually want you to have the full picture, to understand where you fit in. Okay, it's a reality that initially you will also be one of the cogs in the wheel, but this cog in the wheel also should be with a difference, who understands everything, who is there only to get exposure, experience for some time, and then who kicks and breaks himself or herself free to aim and pitch for leadership position. Okay, so this creation and leadership mindset we help you achieve. So again, I have put this image. What do you want to do after 5 years? Okay, do you want to continue or you want to get into selling loans, insurance, or credit cards by having the lowest rung job in financial markets? Or you want to become a stock trader, which is kind of medium level job in a brokerage firm or a wealth management company? Or you want a top end job, for example, becoming a portfolio manager or a creator of a fintech firm, or running some kind of hedge fund, or being a fund manager in the hedge fund or an alternate investment firm, or doing PMS, or running your own prop desk, or working in an investment bank, etc. So I hope I have put into your mind this concept that career in financial markets is also of various steps and various echelons. Okay, and it purely depends on you what you are aiming for, what is your aspiration. If you aim for the stars, then only you can hit the sky, is my fundamental belief. Unfortunately, when I meet lot of youngsters from financial markets, okay, so I see that they are doing very low end jobs. Now, sorry for this photo, I do not want to demean anyone, but I have seen a lot of youngsters working in brokerage firms who are just coming casually to open accounts, for relationship building, or to just take signatures on some forms. Even in banks, there are people who are selling bank assurance, okay, selling credit cards, selling demat accounts, etc. I feel very sorry for them. And I think that with proper aspiration and proper inputs, they could have aimed for senior level roles. Okay. So I'm not demeaning delivery boys, but this kind of roles are also there in banks. And please, please, please have, engage with us more, engage with me more, and calibrate your aspirations properly. And please have the right aspiration and right inputs, and understand this presentation very well, especially the next section that is coming up, that will help you achieve leadership position in financial market. Now, the way I have divided is financial markets, you can divide into multiple parts, okay, perhaps 50 parts, different parts, depending on domain, depending on institution, depending on what you are doing, etc. But I have taken capital market and I have broken down into trading and trading infrastructure, risk and surveillance, and settlement. So only three parts. And these three parts also I have dissected vertically into three. So I have noted down some skills which everyone will eventually pick up. So these are guys who are kind of runners who will help running the organization. In the second part, I have divided it into managerial skills, which are in high demand. Okay, so managers and senior managers. And at the top echelon, I have leadership skills, okay, where top 10% of the financial market will have these skills. And these are the skills which I and FMLI actually have how, to give you, basically. We have promised to give you, okay. So here, for example, understanding the importance of price. Now, everybody understands the importance of price. Okay, they can look at prices. Low price means opportunity to buy, higher price means opportunity to sell, etc. But what do managers do? They will go one step ahead to understand the price discovery process, how price discovery happens at exchanges, etc. A leadership level person will work very, very distant from them. They will be able to create systems for efficient price discovery. They will be the guys who can create apps, who can create marketplaces, who will create exchange matching engine to bring efficiency in the whole price discovery process and in the whole order matching process. Okay. Again, skill which everyone will pick up. Everyone will be able to work on an app for trading. Okay, a manager will have a complete view of trading risk and settlement, whereas a leader will be able to create institutions for trading risk and settlement. They will be able to go ahead and create brokerage firms, exchanges, clearing corporations, depository, etc. Just as Mr. Rajesh Patil was entrusted with the role of creating National Stock Exchange, and he created and launched National Stock Exchange with the help of few of his other IDBI colleagues. Now, anyone will be able to trade on indices. Okay, you can just look at various exchange traded funds. You can find the ETF and you can trade on the index. But only a manager will be able to calculate indexes accurately. So if I ask you today, for example, how do you calculate NSE Nifty or BSE Sensex, will you be able to demonstrate me on Excel? In FMLI, our first program, actually, Trading and Advanced Capital Markets, has that in our very first few sessions. So students are able to calculate and reconcile with the exchange indices directly. Who are leaders? Leaders will be able to define and create new indexes. They sit on index construction committee and maintenance committee, and they can create new indices. Everyone will be able to understand market liquidity. They understand when market are liquid, not liquid, etc. Who are managers? Managers are people who will go one step further to calculate the impact cost of every transaction, to take decision whether to put a large trade on the trading floor with a trader right now, whether to execute it aggressively or execute it passively, etc. Because they understand the implications of impact cost. Who are leaders? Leaders are able to build market mechanisms to lower impact costs for all traders. They will be able to create additional liquidity in market, bring about lot of traders by creating the right incentive, by creating the market structure, relevant market structure, etc. And they will be able to lower the impact cost for all traders. These are the differentiation between runners, managers, and creators. Runners will be able to identify high bid offer spread. So they know the times when not to trade because the bid offer spread is very high and which side of the trade to be in. Managers, on the other hand, will be able to profit in a high environment of high bid offer spreads. Okay, perhaps they are people who will become counterparties to these runners and they know how to profit in such high bid offer spread environment. Then who are leaders? Leaders are people who will create market mechanism to lower this kind of bid offer spread that will benefit eventually every trader. Runners are people who will know option trading strategies. But managers are people who will calculate the risk, who understand the risks and nuances of options, and they understand the settlement of options very well. They understand the cash flows that will result not from the payoff diagrams, but eventual settlement of options. Leaders, on the other hand, or top 10% of financial market, also called creators, will be able to create where options can be traded and settled in a riskless way. Runners are people who will avoid insider trading. Managers are people who will be able to investigate or defend insider trading charges should a charge be levied against the brokerage firm or the trading firm that you represent. Whereas leaders will be able to create a market where insider trading can be completely avoided. For example, this whole business of direct market access has come in to avoid insider trading, where traders from overseas, they can directly connect using fixed protocol and send their orders routed to brokers, where brokers don't even come to know, and they come to know about these execution after the orders are executed and not before. So insider trading can be completely avoided. Runners are people who will rely on best 5 quotes that are available. Managers are people who will demand, buy, and use full market depth. And leadership level people will create order books, not only for exchange, but for use for other use cases like sports betting or coal auctions or other bidding or auction systems, for example, for power trading or diamond trading, etc. Runners are people who will profit from market fluctuations. Managers will be able to add algo trading and more advanced trading systems on top. Whereas leaders will be able to write their own algos and code their own algos or lead a team of algo developers themselves. Runners will use algos that others have created for their own trading. Managers will go ahead and create algo infrastructure for the organization, for the trading firm, for the prop trading business, or for the brokerage firm that they are working at. And leaders will be able to create exchange and whole infrastructure for algo trading. So these are the differences, just for your understanding, between people who work at elementary level, people who work at mid level, and people who work at leadership level in financial markets on the trading and trading infrastructure side. Now let's just quickly extrapolate this to risk and settlement side. Again, divided into skill, everyone picks up managerial skills and leadership skills. Runners are able to understand margins and why it is important. We know margins are levied by clearing corporation to curtail risk every own position or every trade that you take. Managers are also able to calculate the margin by using PC span or by using Excel or their calculators. Leadership level people are able to design margining system for exchanges and clearing corporations. Runners are able to trade and settle risklessly. Managers are able to calculate all risk scenarios in a trading plan and present this trading plan in front of their seniors or juniors, etc. Creators are able to design markets where millions of faceless people can come, trade, and settle without risk, as it happens in the listed securities environment, where there are millions of people who do not know each other but come forward and transact. And then clearing and settlement happens through clearing firms, depository participants, and clearing corporation, in a seamless way where nobody loses any money. You may lose on trade, but you don't normally lose on field settlements. Runners are able to understand commodities margining. Managers are able to understand commodity prices are highly volatile. But creators are able to design margining systems for global commodity markets. Runners are able to understand that options risk is complicated. Managers are able to calculate 16 scenarios of options risk using SPAN as a mechanism or as a risk management model. And creators are able to understand global risk management models like SPAN inside out and can customize to create new models, risk management models. Runners are able to reconcile margins communicated by exchanges, clearing corporations, etc. Managers work at senior levels and they understand disruption to trading if margins are changed, and they know how investors will react to change in margins and how should there be a default, how it can be curtailed. Creators are people who create systems to ensure no one defaults in the market right at the clearing corporation level. Okay, and downstream it is implemented to clearing members, to each one of us, the traders and trading members. Runners are able to understand the steps involved in settlements. Managers can improve these settlement processes dramatically. And creators are people who can create settlement systems from scratch. They can go ahead in a new market and create the whole network of clearing members, clearing corporations, create various operations and processes involved in margining, margin collection, deposits, liquid net worth, and create the whole settlement system from scratch. Supposing if I were to send you to a small country like Vietnam or Bangladesh, will you be in a position to create this whole trading and settlement infrastructure from scratch? That is the question you have to ask when you are talking of leadership and senior management roles. Runners are able to conduct settlements without glitch. Managers are able to manage disruptions in case if it happens and handle disputes. Creators, on the other hand, are able to create settlement systems that are irrevocable, fair, etc., and create adequate bylaws protecting every party. Runners are able to understand and use payments and settlement systems like delivery versus payment, payment versus payment, and RTGS, etc. Managers are able to implement delivery versus payment, RTGS, for their own organizations that you work for. So, for example, if you're working for RBL or Citibank or HSBC, you implement RTGS using NPCIs, APIs, etc., your own organization. Or if you're working for ICICI Direct, can you implement delivery versus payment with clearing corporation on one side and millions of trading clients on the other side? Creators, on the other hand, can create market-wide infrastructure for delivery versus payment, payment versus payment, and RTGS. Mind you, it's not only about understanding these processes, but also going ahead and creating infrastructure and implementing these processes right from grounds up. Okay, that is the leadership level skill that I'm talking of. Runners are able to shorten the settlement cycle. Managers are able to implement straight through processing. We have seen Bombay Stock Exchange, for example, going through a settlement cycle right from 21 days to 14 days to 7 days to 2 days and now 1 day. There was a time when straight through processing was implemented. And as managers, you are expected to implement this straight through processing in your organization. But creators think very differently. They think, how can we remove all these intermediaries to implement blockchain, and using blockchain, can we have all of these things in a second or in fraction of a second? So creators, actually, if you have this creators hat, if you play the creators role and if you have this creators mindset, then you can pitch for leadership position. You can at least prepare yourself for these kind of leadership roles, and you can easily get into top 10% of financial markets whenever you want. Okay, this journey is long. I mean, I don't say that you can achieve these things in 2 or 3 years' time, but in 2, 3 years' time, you should start staking your claim. As in Hindi, we say, "Honar birban ke hot chikne paat." It means people who are destined to lead, people who are destined to work at very, very senior positions, their traits start showing very early. And one of the things that I want you to do is understand that these are the leadership traits that differentiate between somebody who also ran, somebody who made them run, and somebody who created the field itself for others to run. So, this kind of mindset I inculcate in Financial Market Leadership Institute, and that is why we call it Financial Market Leadership Institute, because we help you aim for leadership position. Guys, thank you very much. I think it has been a long video, but thanks for watching till the end.